Hello, everybody, and welcome to another show and reading with myself, Gary from Alternative Interactions, and
Izabela from Tarot by Izabela.
thank you very much, Izabela. Today, we're going to be doing something that we're just going to call it Ambrosia Part 2, fundamentally. But it's going to be a little bit of information from Izabela, and then I've got a question for Izabela to look into her crystal ball. And Izabela will explain which crystal ball she's going to be using. And I thought rather than go into modern times, we'd go all the way back to the beginning and try and figure out how it all began so that we could then have a foundation for moving forward perhaps in the future. So, with that, Izabela, would you like to um, give the audience the information you have about rhesus negative and rhesus positive blood types, please?
Yes. Well, after our first show, Ambrosia Part 1, we got a lot of people asking us in the comment section and also through mail about Rh negative blood types. And many thought a little bit like, if I have negative blood type, am I evil of some kind? Or what does it really mean? And I think it's a good idea that we just make a short explanation how we see this thing. And I have in front of me just printed out some short facts about blood groups and Rh factor, what scientifically it means. And then afterward, you could talk about this with the Rh factor um, in connection to our past show.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, then. I will just read the short fact. And for anyone, information is so easily found if you just Google it online, if you want some deeper understanding what scientific community has to say about the blood groups and Rh factors. So let's start then. Blood groups are inherited classifications of red blood cells based on antigens. Yes, sorry. Molecules on the cell surface that the immune system can recognize. They are medically important because mismatched blood can trigger immune reactions. The two most important systems are the ABO system and the RH system. The ABO blood groups. The ABO system was discovered by Carl Landsteiner in 1901. He noticed that human blood could be divided according to two antigens on red blood cells, A antigen and B antigen. The letters A and B are simply names given to these first two antigens identified. A third group had neither antigen or was later called O, from German ohne, meaning without. A fourth group, AB, has both. What each ABO group means. Group A, red cells carry A antigen. Plasma has anti-B antibodies. Group B, red cells carry B antigen. Plasma has anti-A antibodies. Group AB, both A and B antigens, no anti-A or anti-B antibodies. Group O, neither antigen, both anti-A and anti-B antibodies. Globally, approximate ABO frequencies are: O has about 45% of the people around the globe has O, A 40%, B 11%, AB 4%. And those percentages differ with ancestry and geography. Now we come to the Rh factor, rhesus negative and rhesus positive. The Rh factor is the second major blood group system. It was named after early research involving rhesus monkeys, though modern understanding later became more complex. In everyday medicine, Rh factor almost always refers to the D antigen. If your red cells have the D antigen, then you are Rh positive. If your red cells lack the D antigen, then you are Rh negative. And what's more, the Rh positive, about 85% of the population have it, and Rh negative, they are about 15%. In many European populations, Rh negative is more common, up to 15 to 17%. In African and Asian population, the Rh negative is usually much less common, often below 10, sometimes below 5%. Unlike ABO antibodies, people do not naturally have anti-Rh antibodies. They usually develop only after exposure to Rh positive blood through blood transfusion or pregnancy. If an Rh negative person is exposed to Rh positive blood, the immune system may create antibodies against the D antigen. Further exposure can then cause destruction of red blood cells. If an Rh negative mother carries an Rh positive fetus inherited from the father, small amounts of fetal blood can enter the mother's circulation. She may then form anti-D antibodies. In later Rh positive pregnancies, these antibodies can cross the placenta and attack fetal red cells, causing hemolytic disease of the newborn. Today, this is largely prevented by giving anti-D immune globulin during and after pregnancy. Blood groups mainly signify which antigens are present on our red cells and which antibodies may be in our plasma. And for the last, blood type does not determine personality, intelligence, or character, despite popular myths. It mainly signifies inherited biological markers. Some blood groups are more common in certain populations because of migration, genetics, and evolutionary pressures. For example, some links with resistance or I cannot pronounce this word, susceptibility, something like that, to certain infections. Summary. The Rh factor tells whether the D antigen is present, positive, or absent, negative. Around 85% of people are Rh positive and 15% are Rh negative. These systems are crucial for safe transfusions and pregnancy care, making them among the most important classifications in medicine. So that was the short facts.
Thank you very much, Izabela. That's very interesting. Now, two things before Izabela starts doing her reading, the crystal ball. The first one is to reconfirm the difference between ambrosia and another substance with an A and a chrome, or chrome adrena if you wanted to put it the other way round. Okay. Obviously, that's the party substance of the stars and comes from a different source to ambrosia. Ambrosia is a substance created by beings for longevity and immortality, as well as a control mechanism of the hierarchy of those that take it. This was confirmed in the show previously. I just wanted to remind everybody before we go any further that when we're talking about ambrosia, we are not talking about little ones and the substance taken from them. two completely different substances. Okay. Now, the other thing is, this show is for entertainment purposes only,
Yes.
and any characters, names, circumstances, or historical facts that are brought up are purely by accident and do not represent real characters or historical people or persons. Okay, so let's get that very clear before we start, just in case we get in trouble later. Hey, Izabela.
Yeah.
Now, the other thing is as well, we really do have no proof about what has happened in our history.
Mm,
The more I look into history and the more research I've done over the years, the more I have realized that the historical texts, books, tablets cannot be relied upon. So when people get or place their flag upon the hill and say, this is definitely it, with the greatest respect, it's really not.
mm,
All the books are written by the victors of the historical event that happened. All history is written by the victor of the army that crushed the previous one or the race that was removed by the previous one. And so everything is designed via a, how can I put it? It's got a slant, it's got a, oh, what's the word I'm looking for? A narrative. Everything has a narrative and an agenda to it. So, yes, they may have found some tablets that are very, very old. Do we know who wrote or produced those tablets? No, we don't. The books that we read, although are good guides, are actually just that, as are the tablets, as is all history, a guide. The only thing I am certain of in this world currently, and I don't even know what the world is, by the way, because we have no proof, is there's a thing outside called the sun that's shining, so it must be daytime. I can't tell you what the date is. I can't tell you what the day is. I can't tell you anything about anything because we truly don't really know. So,
yes.
while we appreciate all the comments and the explanations and the historical stuff is fascinating, I find it fascinating. Please do not get triggered or upset by things we say or come out from the crystal ball or via my questions. And if it goes against a narrative that has been written or has been produced by a book, then it is what it is. And unfortunately, we're no more correct than that book is. So there we, I hope that makes sense to everybody.
Yes, since no one alive today have witnessed what happened 6,000 years ago, and there is no proof of anything. We can only speculate and discuss how it may have been or possibly were, but we cannot prove it as a 100% truth. No one can. And if someone says it can, then a big red flag will be swayed in front because really, it's just logical thinking, nothing else.
Yeah,
And we talk a little bit about those with the RH negative factor, Gary. And a lot of people in the comment section was a little bit afraid of uh, that they may be evil or something was not right with them because they were RH negative. And maybe you have also a good explanation
I
to that
do.
one.
I do. Thank you very much, Izabela. Now, we have multiple species of animals that look identical but are completely different. Now, one of them you won't, probably many of you would have never come across, is the giraffe. Now, the majority of you would imagine that we have one kind of giraffe, and the giraffe is a giraffe. There are actually four different species of giraffe. The four different species do not interbreed with each other. They are separate subspecies that look identical to me, to my eyes, to each other, but they're completely different. But they're still giraffes. They still do giraffe things. They still have long necks. They still feed um, on trees at top of the bits and pieces, and they are fundamentally a giraffe. Now, the fact that one of the giraffes is called a Rothschild's giraffe, we'll leave that one there. But it's the same with us. We're all humans. We're all people. And it's what's in here that counts. Who you are, how good you are, your frequency of love is the key to everything, not what flows through your veins. Okay? What flows through your veins has got no ability to change the person you are. The person you are is the person you chose to be, good, bad, or otherwise. And I'm certain that everybody here is absolutely wonderful and amazing. So please do not get hung up on Risa's negative or Risa's positive. It's a historical likelihood, can't use the word fact, but it's the historical likelihood that a group of people changed the humans into slightly different humans so that they could be used in an easier way for their scientific purposes. And it's not a very nice way to put it, but it's a fact. And it doesn't matter what blood group you are or what blood group type you are. It makes no difference whatsoever. It's who you are inside. Just like those lovely giraffes.
So do not worry. Plus or minus, we are just humans.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Isabella, would you like to
Yeah.
tell us about your crystal ball today and what? I've got a question for you now. Would you like to tell the audience about the crystal ball first, and then we ask the
Yep.
question?
I was thinking before we were planning to do this show, what kind of crystal ball could be used for this one? Since we do talk about history long time ago, possible things that could happen, old scriptures and myths and things like that. So I was thinking about using the garnet crystal ball, and it's not crystal really, it's more like a stone with patches of garnet inside of it, and it's quite old, and it goes long time back, this material, and hopefully it has witnessed energetically what could have happened like 6.5, 7,000 years ago. And hopefully the crystal with the garnet that gives strength and it's grounding and courage will be able to answer some of those questions that we have today. And in case I will be needed some extra reinforcement, I also have my amethyst crystal ball. But let's continue, begin with this one. And as we go along with the question, depending on the question and what feels right for the moment, I may use my rods again, my copper rods, or maybe a combination with rods and cards. We don't really know in advance how this will um, develop this reading. Hmm?
Yes. So, thank you very much, Isabella. Now, I have a question. It's quite a long-winded question, but I would like for you to be able to ask the crystal ball about the beginning. Now, last show, Ambrosia Part 1, as if we call it that, we found out that Sophia or Gaia was part of a team that created humans. And I wonder if they also created this reality, this realm, this planet, whatever it is that we live in or on, if they were the same ones that created that as well, a group. Now, I think it's the Hopi prophecy, or certainly Indian and possibly Aboriginally wise, they talk about ancient beings creating this realm. And the Indians talk about spider grandmother. And spiders have 8 legs. So I wonder if there were 8 main beings or energies that created this realm. And I wonder if one of those creators became jealous of what had been created and so came in and corrupted that energy. And this is where we get the 200 Anunnaki or the 200 fallen angels or the 200 watchers. But I have a further question on from that as well. I'm sorry, I know your higher self will be listening to this and I know the crystal ball will. But where did the 200 Anunnaki come from?
Hmm.
Where did they come from? Did they come from another realm? Were they created? Where did they come from? So
Yes.
Sophia was part of a team. Did that team create our reality, our realm? And was one of that team bad and ultimately came in here to take it over to the what we now have? And we're told through history and books, the Book of Enoch, I think, is one of them. I think in the Bible mentions it as well, that we had 200 fallen angels or 200 watchers. Where did they come from?
Hmm.
Now, I know that's a lot to ask, but if we can get some kind of answers around that, I think it might help us move forward to understanding what then happened via these 200 watchers.
Yeah. I cannot promise I will see anything, but sometimes even if a question, if the crystal ball goes blank, it's like a curtain, then I'm not supposed to know it, that answer. But I will concentrate what was from the beginning. How was this created? Was it through Sophia and a group, or was it something totally different? And if maybe the Anunnaki, who were they? The fallen angels, the watchers. Okay, then. Now I need to concentrate for a few moments. It's a quite big question. Hopefully, this garnet crystal ball will want to answer it. What was from the beginning? Who and what created it? And what were the Anunnakis? Okay, let's see. Well, this may shadow a lot of what I see here. It could be symbolical. I cannot say for sure if it's only symbolical or if it's something literal. Uh, for the first thing, the universe or life is much, much, much bigger than we ever can expect it to be. Symbolically, I see a female figure and I see a male figure. And this realm, like a small chessboard, like a game on a table, something to a pastime activity. Mm. And it's some kind of invention, this realm, from beings that are huge. Mm. And it's like the female being created this world and she liked it. And I see her looking at this world, you know, greenery, the animals, the people, everything. And she's smiling and she looks so happy and she's, you know, helping here. And it's so much love. She was doing a creation of love, a work of love. And the male figure, I see him looking at her because she's spending a lot of time with this creation. She doesn't have any time for him anymore. And he gets jealous and he wants to sabotage. Oh, you think you did something good? So there comes some kind of jealousy. And he wanted to destroy um, this female's creation. And so she wouldn't think that she's something special. When she was not present or when she was absent for whatever reason, he put something into her creation that she would not notice at first, but he infected whatever she created. And he now let's see how good your creation is gonna work. And that infection, I see it more like those 200 watchers. So at first, you don't notice them because, they're a little bit like floating around. She didn't notice. But as time went on, her creation was crumbling. And for example, if you have an infection and it affected one thing and the infection spreading, and she saw that, oh my God, this is not good. It could escape, whatever was infected, it could escape into her world. So she put a lid on her creation. So whatever the infection that was inside of this world could not escape and infect her. This could be a symbolical scenario, yeah. And it's like a lid, like a lid you put over a cake or a cheese or something. So she had to protect it while she was figuring out how to get rid of that infection and restore what she had created from the beginning. Ultimately, when she found out who had done this, she didn't want to have anything to do with that person. So divorce, if you can. Yeah. That was what they show, the crystal ball showed me here. Let's see if I see something more. For every entity that was put in here, like the 200 fallen angels, all of them had traces of that entity that put them there. It's like the same DNA or the same energetic pattern. And all of those 200 wanted to be worshipped, wanted to be creators, even if they were not creators of any kind. And since they were much smaller than the original, they went everywhere. And the life forms that were already in that under the dome, they saw them as something special because they looked different. They were light beings. Light beings could be someone with fair skin, fair hair, or whatever, light beings. And they, wow, we have not seen something like that. They look like us, but they are totally different. And of course, and they could do some magic trick. And of course, they got worshipped. And 200 light beings can be put on different places, and everyone was ruling their area. Mm. But every so-called light being was put there, had a toxin, had something in the frequency that was toxic, that was not in balance, that was not healthy, that in some way was programmed to destroy the first creation. And of course, it shows me also some of those, I would call them light beings, even if they are not light beings, entities. They could do good things. So in some way, they did miracles, or they could heal someone ill, or they could walk on water, or they could lift heavy stones, materials, and that made them even more so-called gods with special powers that should not be questioned. Mm. Mm. When this female character, I call it because I don't know if it's female or male, but anyway, the female creation energy returned, she noticed that everything was not working as it should. And she injected into the dome another frequency that would in time grow stronger and bigger and be able to totally eliminate that imbalanced frequency that was put here. Even it could take some time. And she had to put personalities, let's call them personalities, in disguise that were working against the bad frequency from the beginning. Okay, this could be important. If you create, if it's a globe or if it's whatever shape, and you create something around it so it will not, that infection will not be able to spread, it doesn't mean it's only like 1 or 2 kilometers outside the surface. This protection could be hundreds or thousands of kilometers outside the surface. For her or for those creational energies, it's just like this small. But for us, it could be from here to the sun or from here to another galaxy in in size. But still, it's sealed. And okay, it says here, whenever we talk about crafts coming in from outer space or energies coming in from different galaxies, different star systems, really, I see it more like this creation of energy injecting something new. And we will see it as a spacecraft or something else. For us, it looks like that, but it's like just an injection in that dome. But the most interesting thing, I saw those that we call the 200 watchers look like people, but they were much bigger and brighter, and they could do miracles. And they were placed in different areas. More of them were placed around the Middle East. There were higher concentrations. Maybe there were at 50, 60 of them just in that area. And then we have on other places. And they were fighting between each other. Everyone want to be the God number one for those creation that was already there from the beginning. And since it was an unbalanced energy, not clean energy, destructive energy, and that creator, he still had to somehow keep them going. So he invented different things to keep his creation going. But the original creator, she's much stronger, so she knows how to deal with them. I don't know if it sounds strange, but mainly that is what I could see in this crystal ball. I could make a long, long story out of it for every entity, but I think we're going to keep it a little bit short.
Yeah, that actually makes total and perfect sense to my understanding of what went on and what happened. Now, we had the 200 watchers that came in, and they were much taller, much bigger than the native population. They were blonde haired, blue eyed, with beards. And the native population, my understanding is around that time, could not grow beards, could not grow facial hair in any way, shape, or form, and were shorter and were more of an olive skinned race.
Mm,
And they did indeed have the ability to affect things. Now, they're often shown as having handbags,
mm,
and in those handbags was technology called a me or a tablet. The handbag's called a me, and the inside would be a tablet, just the same as the tablets we have today. And I think they were able to use Wi-Fi or energies that we would describe as Wi-Fi and create miracles in front of the standard population. So
mm,
this mirrors exactly what kind of the historical narrative is, which is really, really nice in a way. Now, they obviously went all around the world, and we see statues of these people today, and they have, is it Lapus Lazuli? It's a blue
Lapis
stone.
lazuli, yeah.
Yeah,
Bluestone, yeah.
yeah. And they put those in the eyes of the original 200 watchers and the statues to show that they were blue eyed and not brown like the population fundamentally was.
Mm,
And they had beards. And one of the things that we see in Egyptian culture, certainly, which would have been very close to the main body of all these people, is that the pharaohs in later date would wear wooden beards because they couldn't grow beards. They'd wear a wooden beard to signify their power and their authority and their closeness to the gods, because only the gods grew beards. And this even translates over into China and Chinese mythology, where I'm certain dragons really did exist, but the dragons have beards. And the dragon with the beard would have been a representation of one of the 200 watchers that went over there, and then certainly would have also ruled China or that region at the same time. And so he would have been a fierce dragon type personality with a beard who ruled the Chinese. And they still have that symbology placed upon their dragons today. So it makes perfect sense for me what you said. And hopefully, with me saying that, ties in exactly to what you were seeing.
Yeah. And we have to remember the hierarchy that is so important, where there were a stronghold of those entities, so-called gods, Anunnakis, or whatever they were. The hierarchy was very strong and strongly imposed because they were also living under hierarchy. They had someone over them and so on. They had to do their boss, what the boss wanted from them. So they were also slaves to somebody else. And they uh, implicated, or they not invented, but infused the hierarchy system in those places. And we see that a lot, where the birthplace of slavery and the kings and um, queens and they were always the low class, and then we go up and up. Especially in China, that is in old Chinese history, we have the emperor, that ultimate power of everything, and everybody have to bow, and concubines and all what they had.
Yeah.
And especially also the Middle East, the sultans with their harems and their slaves. So that system comes back um, very strong in certain places.
We certainly see that in India as well with the
Yeah.
caste system, where if you're born into the lowest level of the caste system, you literally have no chance of working your way up.
Mm-mm.
You are stuck in whatever level you're born in during that caste system. And it's really quite oppressive. Let's use the word oppressive. And certainly when the British intervened and caused even more trouble there, the British would have really, really made sure that that system was very regimented and controlled. Because again, I do think that, I'm not using the word English here, being very careful in my language for those that know how, have seen my channel before. The English were taken over by a race that turned them into the British and the United Kingdom. So the British were already a controlled, captured operation when they then started taking over the rest of the world. And again, if we look at it, it's very likely that those behind the scenes pulling the strings ultimately would have been of Anunnaki descent or potentially the Anunnaki themselves. Because again, in the last program, everybody remember that there are some that are still alive today that came in originally at that time 6,000 or so years ago.
Yeah. You want me to look at that?
I think we could go on from that without question, because I think I think there's some questions that I would like to ask regarding. I mean, I've actually written down, were we locked into this realm as a punishment by the other creators? And we weren't. We were locked down into this realm through jealousy of one of the creators.
Yeah.
Now, a question I have is we clearly have good Anunnaki, or some good Anunnaki, and some that were really not. And I wonder if we actually still have any good Anunnaki that are
Not,
still around at the moment who have who are fundamentally going to double cross what's going on now.
yeah.
So that would be one of my questions for sure. How would you like to answer that? Would you
I'm
like
gonna
to?
take cards, really. On that one, I'm gonna take some cards. If there are still some good Anunnaki. But my question is if they were type of injected and they had, yeah, but everything created will have some kind of will of its own. Mhm.
Yeah,
And how
desires of
come,
their own. Yeah,
yeah,
desires.
and how come they wanted to help, some wanted to help the humanity and others did not? What made them become good? Because that's, I think that's a quite important question.
Yeah, because we did cover last show um, Enoch, and
Mm,
Enoch definitely double crossed them to
mm,
create a machine via the Great Pyramid of Giza that was built, which would be one of the injections
mm,
from Sophia or Gaia, or the female
yeah.
creator, that would have been one of those things that changed the energy inside this locked in realm that would have caused a change to happen in the future.
You know what a vision I got now? She took out some of those Anunnaki and changed them, made them good, and put them back again, like a um, I say, blow.
Yeah,
Because say, take out, no, no, no. We're gonna clean your earth and put you back again. So, and the question, what was it? If the
are there any good Anunnaki
Are
still
there
in
any
here?
good Anunnaki left?
Yeah, who have been cleaned by Sophia, Gaia, whoever.
Hmm? Were there any? Is there any good Anunnaki left? Want to come? Yes, 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 they are. Oh, here we have Four of Swords, Ace of Cups, and Queen of Cups. So the Queen here, I see her as the creational energy. And Ace of Cups is a cup filled with love and prosperity. So yeah, she was mixing that. Here we have Abbey, and Mama Bear. Awaken your fierce love, protect what you cherish with courage and unwavering heart. And we have a spacecraft, a boat flying in the air. So yes, this Mama Bear, creational energy, she too turned someone good to protect her creations. And this was a gift from her. So yeah, she changed some of them. She was absent and sleeping here, Four of Swords. And when she saw what was going on, she injected. And yeah, it's like when you convert from one religion to another. And when you convert the new religion, it's so much stronger than the last one. So those that were evil, when they converted to the good religion, the love, not religion, but it's just symbolic, And then they worked the double hard, the strongest. They were so convinced that they were doing the right thing in everything. So, yeah, they are good ones.
I've got two questions that come from this, which might be your divining rods.
Mhm.
Was Enoch one of the ones that she cleaned and came back? And yeah, so the first question would be, was Enoch one of the ones that she cleaned who came back to give us the pyramid details?
Was Enoch one of them? Yeah, he was clean. Yeah,
Because it said that God gave Enoch the plans. It's saying yes to
yeah,
that, but
yeah.
I believe the God that gave Enoch the plans, from what you're saying, was Sophia, the creator of this realm originally.
Yes.
Not everybody, the male God of your Bible.
Mm,
Two different things here we're talking about. Let's be very clear about that.
yeah,
And the rods agree with me on that, yeah?
yeah.
Yeah. So, my second question to that would be, I don't believe, it's my only personal belief or understanding at the moment, that those Anunnaki that are bad can escape from this realm. They're trapped here. The
Are there
Anun,
Anunnaki that are bad? Are they trapped here? Wait a minute. I have to
yeah,
reset. The Anunnaki that are here, are they trapped here and they cannot escape? Are they trapped here? Yes, they are trapped. They can get out of here, but they need permission. And I don't think they have the permission.
nor do I. The
Because before
Anunnaki,
they could go out and in how they wanted, when she was absent, when she was laying down.
and then we got like a dome or firmament put over us to stop
Yeah.
us. Yeah,
And that was her that put it.
yeah. So, one of the questions would be, did the Great Pyramid of Giza create the dome above us to lock everybody in for her?
It was the Great Pyramid of Giza. Not completely, but it was a part of it. It was needed.
Yeah. The other question, going back to the beginning of your reading with the cards, would be those Anunnaki that she took out and cleaned and did the deal with her, changed their allegiance.
Mm.
Will they be joining us in the 4 and 5D when we come out of here?
Those that were clean will did join us. Some of them. Yes.
The ones that do not have permission currently, will they be joining us?
No.
No.
I'm gonna take some cards. What's gonna happen to them?
Brilliant question.
Those Anunnaki that are still here, that are not the nice ones, what will happen to them? What will happen to those Anunnakis? Okay. Here I mainly got very positive cards, but it's like this world will be returned to balance. We have Two of Wands, Nine of Cups, Three of Cups, harmony, and there will be sweet life again. And they cannot have a place when they're well they were if they were created to cause imbalance, cause destruction. They will not have a place here because here will be the sun light. It will be eternal light. Mm. And they cannot align in this world because they are unbalanced. They have unbalanced egos. So they don't belong here. They cannot be here. And I think their destruction comes quite quickly when it's time. It's just like when you blow out a candle and it's gone. There is no light anymore. Because I get that vision of a candle that is blown out.
That's very good. That's very good. Now, another question that comes to me regarding Ambrosia, the elixir of life from them, is are all the Anunnaki on it, or are only the bad ones on it?
Okay. Are all Anunnaki consuming ambrosia? No. A lot of them are. Almost everybody, like 94%.
So, is it only the bad Anunnaki that are on Ambrosia currently?
I think so, yeah. Because if you are on ambrosia, you can be controlled.
And that was my point.
Mhm. Yeah.
So, the next question would be, is the main controller of the Anunnaki still controlling the Anunnaki from within?
He or it, call it
It,
it.
it's definitely an it, yeah.
Yes, it's in it still, but the power is not total.
No, no,
It's like 50% of the power is left.
yeah. Now, I got a lot of questions, and I'm sure you did, about certain characters who were working with Enki when he changed the Risa's positive to negative and negative to positive to get what he wanted. And there's many characters that they talk about, like Enlil and others. Now, my understanding is completely different to everybody else's. It would be, wouldn't it? It's
Mm.
me. And I think everybody has missed the controller who pulled the strings, who was involved fundamentally, who guided Enki into changing to Rhesus negative. Now, I'm going to put a name out there. Was an individual called Ishmud, Isimud, the one that pulled the strings.
It was, but I don't think it's the own. Has this Ishmet other names? Yes. So whoever character is called Ismeth have other names.
Would one of the other names be Janus?
Yes.
And Janus is a two-faced god
Yeah.
and sometimes a four-faced god.
Yes.
So, for those of you who follow my work, you'll know that I have a playlist called Fibonacci, Chris Code, and Janus. You might want to start watching some of the Janus stuff and the Fibonacci and Chris Code stuff because that will explain this question very clearly.
Mm.
Okay. Janus is the god of this realm internally.
Yep. The god of the disorder, the god of the imbalance, that personality or entity that injected.
He's the chosen one by the jealous partner of Sophia,
Mm.
who does his master's bidding in this realm.
Yeah. Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. Now,
Yes, I can.
is Janus also known as Michael?
Not many knows him as Michael. It's a very little, yes.
Yeah. Um, Sometimes known as the Red Queen.
Even
Yeah.
fewer. Mm.
Now, is Janus the burning bush?
The burning bush in the Bible. Yeah, yes. Or the end. I would rather say something because it was not 100. I would say it differently. Is Janus the one who made the bush burn and talked through the bush? That is
Yes.
a bigger yes. Mm.
Yeah. 100%. Yes.
He's not the bush, but he's the one who burned the bush and talked through the bush.
Janus is the deceiver who used
Mm.
the bush to deceive and create
Yes,
discord.
yes.
So, I know this is going to cause an awful lot of distress to everybody because of the questioning and the way this is going. But unfortunately, the rods are confirming my own research and my own understanding of what's going on. Now, Janus is the god of doorways and is the god of the keys, the keeper of the janitor of movement through everywhere.
Mm.
Right. Janus symbol is the crossed keys.
Yes,
Is Baal's symbol the crossed keys as well?
yes. One of them.
One of them. Because Janus has many faces and many different names. We have a certain religious order that's based in Italy that uses crossed keys.
Yes, we have.
Is that Janus? Is that who they are worshipping?
Yes, they are. Those who know, they know. But those who worship, they don't know. It's like this one is 100% sure. But those that are followers or the slaves, they don't know it.
No.
Because if they knew, they would not worship.
And this goes back to the original purpose, that part of the purpose that they were placed in here was to deceive and deception and cause chaos within this realm.
Yeah. One of them was chaos and deception. There were others also. Yeah, there were much
Yeah, yeah,
other things they were put here to do.
yeah.
One of them was this division.
In the last show, I asked a personal question about the moon coming in. Did Janus and his group create the moon as a control mechanism, of the people.
Yes. Yes. Because you control women with the moon, the menstrual cycles, the tides, the water.
Yes.
Mm.
Now,
I have a question.
go on.
Could be interesting. Before the moon, did women menstruate every month? Or was it just once a year or once?
When they wanted to.
Before the moon, did women menstruate every month? No.
Did women menstruate when they wanted to fall pregnant with the person they wanted to fall pregnant with?
Yes. So the moon was also a control mechanism to cause more problem for women.
It also had a secondary role, and that is to create a source required. This is how can I put this? For
You're
those,
thinking of it and it's already reacting.
yeah, yeah. So for those who understand what the star of Rembrandt was used for during the Canaanite period, during the worship of Baal, and what was sacrificed on the star of Rembrandt, people, okay, people. This is why the moon came in, to ensure a ready supply that could not be stopped or controlled via the divine feminine.
Yeah, because if you cannot control your pregnancy, you have to give birth every time you get pregnant. It's not when you want it. No, you could be raped, you can get pregnant, you have to give birth, whatever.
Yeah.
Mm.
Now, I also asked a personal question last time regarding the Fibonacci sequence. My research shows very clearly that the Fibonacci sequence is not the original creational energy that created this realm. It's something completely different that is used to
Yes.
parasite.
I think it reminds of it,
It mimics.
mimics it. It could look the same as the same, but it's not the same.
No, no.
Yeah, it's
Now,
not the same.
yeah, in my language, I call the original creational nature the Christ code. Is the Christ code the original natural nature creational energy of the female creator of this realm?
Yes, it is, but it's still something little missing here that
Yeah,
must be added. Yeah.
yeah. Again, the playlist that I got, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to pump my channel in any way, shape, or form, but I do have this information that links into all of this and all these characters.
Yeah, you made a very good video there with photo slide. You know, you could see different old how you say from statues and old scriptures and yeah, what
Yeah,
you're talking about, it comes out there.
yeah. And in one of my, I think it was the last show I did, I spoke about a battle that raged, and the battle shows that Baal, it talks about Baal bringing in the moon to win the battle, and Baal using lightning rods to defeat those fighting against. We also have other characters in mythology that used lightning. One is called Hadad, and one is called Zeus.
And Thor.
All these characters, I believe, are exactly the same person or energy.
Yes.
And this is part of what I was speaking about when we first started the show regarding books, tablets, and the information that we have, where they take a person or one of these individuals, gives themselves 4 or 5 or 6 different names, and puts them across multiple timelines, multiple places. Yes, they would have been controlling multiple timelines and multiple places, but they would have been doing it via the the rest of the 200 watches that were available, using Ambrosia to control what was going on for them like a puppet master.
Mm.
And this is what we see across this realm. The Ambrosia has been used as a control mechanism to ensure that Janus has been able to do what he wanted to do.
Yes. Should we
Now,
call it? Was Ambrosia used as a control mechanism for Janus? Was Ambrosia used as a control mechanism? Yes.
100%, isn't it?
And they have to put lovely, beautiful words. Oh, the gods' nectar, the gods' this, and oh, it's nothing bad around it. It's like that. And those watchers have always twisted everything around.
It's the
What is light
inversion.
is dark, what is dark is light. And yeah, to
Yeah,
make themselves look better. Ultimately, all of them want to be worshipped.
yes, they do. Because they're fundamentally narcissistic psychopaths, aren't they?
Yeah. And you can see that in one of the books, the big famous book, one of the rules, should love me. If not, you're gonna die, and your family gonna die, and your children gonna die in generation after generation. Demanding to be worshipped, demanding to be loved. If you don't love me, you will die and suffer, and your children will suffer. And who would like to have their children suffer? Just that expression and all the blood sacrifice that is needed to show the affection of this God. Everything from birds and mm, cows and bulls and sheep and even the firstborn son.
Now, if any of you ever go into a church, and many churches are amazingly built, beautiful architectural buildings. If you look at the stained glass windows, you will always see Peter next to Christ with the twin keys. And actually, what they're showing is Peter is actually Peter, and Peter is the father, and Janus is the father of all gods. And this is where one of the most famous prayers comes in: Our Father who art in heaven. You're praying to Peter, the keeper of the keys, the janitor, who is the person who really is in control of everything and has been for a very, very long time. That's now changing, everybody, I can assure you, because of the split between the Chris code and the Fibonacci. So the Fibonacci would be a 3D control mechanism that we know. The black cube cult, again, it's very difficult to explain, and I'm not going to now because it'd take forever. And we have the crystalline code, which is 5D creational energy. I know where I'm going. I hope the audience understands where they're going. And we may have triggered you on this show without doubt with some of the information we've come out with. I don't apologize for that in any way, shape, or form, because if that allows you to drop the facade, pull the curtain back, and see with your own eyes what's going on, do your own research, it will enable you to drop the shackles of those taking ambrosia that have been controlling us, the human population, for 6,000 years.
Yes. And there are many.
Now, I know there's going to be an awful lot of questions from the show. And again, I should imagine we may even do a third one from this.
Or fourth one or fifth one, it all depends where it goes. Yeah.
But certainly the avenues that we're now going to be looking at may be avenues that will trigger many of the audience. And again, it is what it is, and we can't sugarcoat some of this stuff, unfortunately.
Yeah. And I think we're gonna make some videos about the celebrities and certain specific features they have, most of them, or politicians or people on high position in societies. What binds them together?
Yes, very well said,
And that
Izabela.
is for our next show.
Yes, that's potentially for our next show.
Yeah.
Again, I think we'll leave it here. We've got going on long enough now. But thank you very much for all the comments we receive. We do read them all. Please like, share, and subscribe to Izabela. She does amazing work, as we all know, and is certainly one of the, if not the most talented seers, readers
Thank you.
on the internet. We really are honoured to have your sharing your abilities with us. So thank you very much, Izabela.
And thank you, Gary, for all your insight and your great questions and your persistence to not give up and want to know more and more and more. And one of those people that really want to peel off the layers of the onion and see what is beneath. And we need people like you. Without you, we will be stuck in the cave.
Thank you very much, Izabela.
Questioning, and you dare to question everything. And if we and have that courage to question and maybe given a total different answer that you have been expected, and oh my god, was it like this, or I maybe have to change, and being able to see a bigger picture and not being narrow-minded as many are, my way or no way. And that's wonderful to see, and you are a great inspiration for me, so
Thank you very
really are.
much. Bless you. Thank you very much. So with that, everybody, we're going to say goodbye. And thank you very much for watching. Bye,
Bye
everyone.
bye.